Hey everyone, my name is Adi. I'm an intermediate over-the-board chess player with a provisional rating of 1400. In this series, I'm starting a challenge, climbing to 2200 ELO in rapid games on chess.com. The twist is that I'm playing the bird as white, and against 1a4, I'm going for the accelerated dragon Sicilian, and against 1d4, I'm going for the Leningrad Dutch setup. As I previously said in my previous video, it's all going to be challenging structures, so feel free to follow along. If you're new to this opening, this is the best video for you, or if you just enjoy the grind, thanks for following along. So let me go start a game now. We won a very sharp position in our last previous game in the Leningrad Dutch. No, it was the Anglo Dutch. So we're playing against a 1459, and they have been playing December 1, 2023. So d4, we follow up with knight f3. I don't know why my heart is pounding. So e3 as usual. This looks very similar to what we got in our first game. My heart is sort of beating very fast. I don't know why. So let me just inhale and exhale. So with something like this, well, this is the first I've seen this kind of structure. I normally see this in the opening course I was studying. There was something like after f4 and d5, knight f3, there's knight f6, and after e3, then there's bishop f5. That's what I saw. And in that position, excuse me, so I'm going to go ahead and play bishop b5 anyways, and after queen e7, maybe I can play d3, but h6, then we are forced to trade. Do we want to do that? Okay, so let me just go ahead and play bishop b5. I mean, bishop d7 looks automatic. And if bishop d7, can we just play knight e5? If knight e5, a6, we fake. Okay, so they are giving us the idea to double the pawn structures, and you always want to do that in the bed if you get a chance. So I'll go ahead and take now. After take, we play d3, then we castle. So d3, we can castle now and play something like queen e2, maybe knight b d3, no, knight b c3 I meant. But even after g4 now, there's always h3, and if bishop takes, you just take back with the queen. And it's probably going to be a very slow position again. So what are the options for white here now? Maybe something like d6, e6, to play bishop d6 and castles. But after this, there's always the idea of playing knight e5 anyways. And we can quickly follow up with something like knight c3 or even b3 to develop our bishop to b2. But that will be after castling, so e6. So I guess we can castle here now. I guess we can castle now. And if e4, takes, queen takes, if rook takes, the bishop takes here. Okay, that doesn't look. If I play knight b d2, this block, okay, there's knight c3. Why knight b2 seems strange to me is after knight b d2, let's say the castles and e4, d4, the bishop moves back. And if the bishop move, there's bishop takes f4, and I think we just losing a pawn. Well, I can play something like knight e5 now. If knight e5, bishop takes, the knight has to move. Maybe knight comes here. So knight e5, it's a candidate move here, but knight e5 and the castle. So let's say knight e5, black short castle, and e4. After d4, if takes, we take back, and they can take here. Oh, so if knight e5, if the castle now, we can take on c6. Yes, I guess we can take on c6. Okay, I guess we can take on, so knight e5, if the castle, we take on c6. And after something like queen d7, and we can just come back here to e5. Okay, so let me play knight e5. Looks interesting. And in the bed, there's always the idea of knight e5 and playing g4. Yes, I can remember my prep now. Yeah, so in this kind of structure, you can play g4. G4, if they takes, we just take this. And yes, oh, I think so. But yeah, but in that kind of structure, there's always the idea of playing bishop h3. I might have misplaced this. I think I might have misplaced this a little bit. Yeah. I'm thinking so. I mean, black cannot castle here. They will just be down a pawn. So they probably have to take. And after this, the knight has to move. If the knight comes to g5, g4, and after h3, yeah, I think after h3, the knight may have been trapped. I guess so. I mean, we can play queen a2 to play queen f2 now. Yeah. There's always the idea of c4 as well. And if dc4, yeah, that doesn't look much interesting. We are just giving this bishop a lot of room. I mean, we cannot be too sad about the position we get out of the structure, which I think it's pretty much alright. I do think so. Yeah. The bird. I mean, this is why you play the bird. It's always sharp, and most of the times you don't know what is going on. And I think this should be less than my 15th game in the bed. But the structures are always very, very sharp. Very, very sharp. Which is quite good. I think I'm at level at 1400, close to 1400 if we are able to win this game. So if we lose, we're going to lose 9 points. If we win, we're going to be 12 points up. So that's like something in the 1400-ish. That would be nice. I mean, that would be a nice thing to do. If g4, yeah. If they take with the bishop, we take with the knight. Yeah, and we are just up a knight and down a pawn. At least in, I think on day 3, we played against someone and they hung their bishop by falling into this trap or something like out of the opening. They just play bishop g4, and after h3, which they should have taken, and they went back to h5, and after g4, they went back to bishop g6, and after f5, they lost their bishop. Although I did manage to mess it up a little bit. So the knight has to move now. right? Yeah, I'm sure the knight has to move. I mean, bishop g4 doesn't do anything. If bishop g4, maybe queen e1 to play something like, maybe something like this, or something like queen f2 as usual, as we see in the bed, and we double down here. If the knight move, if you are able to play queen e2, queen f2, and they didn't castle, I will play g4 to dislodge this bishop, there's something like queen takes f7 checkmate, which is obviously not going to happen. So what's the follow-up when the knight move? So let's say the knight goes here. What's our follow-up after then? Because I'm thinking if knight c3 and d4, this is loosed now, I guess. Or can we just cement our pawn by playing something like d4 here? Let's say knight here now. Oh, with knight d7, if e4, d4, d4. No, it doesn't work because the bishop can still take. Yeah, the bishop can still take. Yeah, the bishop can still take in that line. I wish there's something like sacrificing this rook here, but that doesn't do anything. What I'm just thinking is that after knight fd7, how do we protect this pawn? Wow, why is our opponent disconnected? Oh, thank God you're back. Oh, thank God. I was afraid that I'm going to restart all of this. So how is this pawn going to be defended now? Well, I'm thinking something like g4. If g4, bishop g6, g4, bishop g6. So let's say after h4, h4 can be played because the queen is attacking that one. So I'm thinking queen e2, but if knight takes now, and e4, d4, d4, the bishop has to move. No, bishop can come to g4, g4, and we have to move our queen again. Yeah, so maybe we might have slightly misplaced this. If I play d4 and they play c5, apologies for that. I don't think that does anything because we can always, yeah, I don't think that does anything. If c5, we can just continue playing with something like, let me say b3, bishop b2, and yeah, I don't think that's much of a threat. So I'm just saying d4, and if c5, threatening to take. If we take, they take on here. Yeah. So let me play d4. And since there's no dark square bishop, but putting our pawn on dark square sort of limit our own bishop as well. I think d4 might have been a mistake. We need to find a way to target this pawn as soon as possible. You can decide to castle now. If castles g4 and bishop g6, yeah, there's still nothing in that. There's still nothing. Maybe we can play b3 now. Yeah, maybe b3 and bishop a3. Okay, and bishop a3. So let's say castles b3. And what is their plan? How did they develop this bishop? And if you play something like maybe queen g5, if queen g5, we just play e5. Yeah, so b3. And if f5, if f6, f6, bishop a3, rook e8. If g4, bishop g6. So after this, they can't take because they lose the rook. So bishop a3. And I'm thinking if they move the rook, we just take on c5. And if they take, we take. And yeah, and I think they have this. Okay, that looks interesting. I should have slowed down before playing bishop a3 because this has become a very normal occurring pattern of how I lose most of this game. Maybe h3, g4, bishop g6. We don't have h5. Maybe something like queen here. Maybe, okay, I can play queen e2 now. Queen e2 to play queen f2, and that supports h5. Yes, I think that works. Maybe I need to play queen e2 next. With queen e2, I can safely play something like knight c3 or knight c3 or knight something like knight bd2, and g4, h5 can be safely pushed in that variation. So I think queen e2 has to come less now. So this is what I saw. So takes, take. Okay. This bishop looks loose to me, but it's not. So after g4, okay, let me go. What are the candidate moves here? Knight c3. If takes, then I take. If he takes back, so there's no this. Yeah, so that doesn't work. If I take on c5, knight takes c5, dc5. And fe5. After fe5, is there a way to win back this pawn on e5? I don't think there's any way. Okay, so with this now, after g4 here, we have h4, and if it takes on e5, we have h5, and after bishop here, we take, and if they take, we take, and this one is here. But then how do I develop the... Okay, I see something like e4. After d4, d5, and after this we take. But if this we take, if they take here, yeah, I'm complicating this thing. I'm thinking that I don't want to take now. If I take, they just develop the rook, and if we take here, and they just have a normal structure. And can we just push back? Okay, so what are the candidate moves? I don't like the option of EF6 because after rook F6, it seems we are giving them a very good position. Okay, so if rook takes, this doesn't do anything. And if you just take on here, oh, we're getting down low on time. So if knight takes, we take here. If rook takes and we take here, if they take, I think we'll be up a pawn. Yeah, so let me just take. Yeah, I think we'll be up a pawn in that line. Yeah, I think so. What am I calculating? Yeah, I think we are up a pawn, right? Yes. Yeah, we can just safely take on c5 now. Yeah. I think we can safely take on c5. Yes, I think we can safely take on c5. I'll be preparing for work in the next 30 minutes, so hopefully this game comes to an end in 30 minutes time, hopefully. So if they take here, we just take, and we are up a pawn. Yes. I think that is, and if they take either way, our bishop is going to be taking c5 anyway. I just completely missed that. So either one is winning. Hopefully this game comes to an end in the next 30 minutes because I have to start preparing for work. I have to get to work by 8. So let's see. We've got 5 minutes for our opponent and we've got 7 minutes. That can go as long as forever. Well, if it doesn't end in the next 45 minutes, that means I'll be taking an Uber to work. Okay. Yeah. So our opponent is thinking, which is a good sign. Maybe they are going to come up with something absolutely brilliant that we might have missed. But I'm very sure f6 loses a pawn. What I'm afraid is for that we are just doubling our pawn on the c file. After something like, let's say rook takes now. So if we take knight takes this c5, and let's say something like queen a2, and the position is somewhat close, so I'm just trying to figure a way that can we absolutely defend this pawn and not give it back if we are in time pressure. So if take, and after something like queen e7, how do we defend this pawn? Well, if queen e7, we can just play queen d4, right? And if e5, we just take, and if rook here, oh, okay. Yeah, we can't even play queen d4. Maybe something like b4. Just defend that pawn. Yeah, something like b4 and a3 and knight c3. Yeah, okay. If we are able to get our knight into the game, it's our opponent is getting low on time. Time pressure. We are up a pawn, which is a very good sign, but it looks very, very sharp. And we have to complete the development is just to play knight e2 now. Oh, apologies for that. Queen e2 and just play something like knight c3, and we are able to connect the rooks, and hopefully we can get going with the attack. So if our opponent play queen e7, we just play b4 anyways, right? Yeah, I think b4. Yeah, I think b4. I mean, they may start looking for somehow to just maybe play something like this and rook g6. And how do we defend against that? Well, if bishop e4, we just play knight d2. And really? And after this, so if we take, they want to double here. Is this just a sacrifice? Okay, let me just calm down and be sure. So if queen takes e2, let's say they take here, and if king takes, and let's say something like this, if you play this, oh, okay, so this is what they are planning. Oh, so if we take on c2, I think we are losing. I think I'm losing here. So queen c2, check, takes. They want to give this check, picking up this rook. Oh, so is there no way for us to survive? So takes, rook takes, king takes, queen f6 check. If king e2, if they take here, okay. And after something like me, probably knight c3. The queen can always come to, okay. But the queen is not trapped. That's the issue. Yeah, the queen is not trapped in any of these variations. The queen is not trapped. Okay, so I think we have to give back that pawn now. Taking does look dangerous to me. So if here, if it takes, we take back. Yeah, taking looks very dangerous. Yeah, something like queen e2 should have been played much earlier. Taking looks much dangerous. If takes, rook takes, king f1, after queen here, check. If you play something like this, they take here, and there's no check. Yeah, there's no check. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's a very brilliant move. That's a very, very brilliant move by black. So we take, no, we can't take for sure. So if here now takes, and this check we just take. Yeah. Maybe queen e2 now. So let me just play queen e2. Yeah. Yeah, I will be surprised if Queen E2 is a losing move. I'll be surprised. Maybe something like Queen D2 would have been better. No, I don't think so. Because if Queen D2, they still have the same tactic. Yeah. Well, that was good. I mean, that was a very good tactics. I won't even deny that. I mean, something like knight bd2 now, of course. Yeah, knight bd2 and connect the rook. Oh, that was, apologies for that. That was a very good tactic. Honestly, that was really good. Because I just want to check if we have the same move. Because if you are taking, they take, queen f6 check, and if something like queen e2, and something like this, can we just, so this, and if we played this, take, so if we played this, yeah, I don't think we want to keep the position as simple. So if here, and if they bring the rook here, okay. So queen e2, if bishop here, we play here, but queen e2, if they take, or if queen e2 and they play f6, what do we do? If we play this now, and something like this was played, okay, let me just take my time. Or something like this, and if they go and they can't go there, of course they can't. Okay, so the candidate's moves is queen e2, queen e1, or queen f4. Queen f4, they would definitely avoid the trade. Queen f4, they would avoid the trade, but how can they avoid the trade? Maybe go here, threatening this check when they will develop, right? If queen f4, if it takes, so let's say queen f4 takes, and after this, how do we protect this? Maybe g3, and if they takes, we take, and if g3, they play rook f5, and after knight c3 or something like that. So let me say queen f4. Okay. I mean, queen f4 looks the most interesting. Okay, let me say queen f4. I mean, they probably want to trade. They probably want to trade now. Yeah, they probably want to trade now. Probably want to trade the queen. Yeah, maybe they want to trade now. I have 23 more minutes to the end of this game because I need to start preparing for work. So they take. So if rook f8, we just play g3. So after g3, I mean, this doesn't look, this look really dangerous. I mean, we have no issues simplifying this position as much as this. If we're able to get our rook into play, I think we should be winning. Because if we are able to trade now, if it takes, and we play something like rook e1. So if we go here, we're targeting this. So let me play something like this. Okay, yeah. We want to take on here and we take here. And we just play something like this. So if we take, they play something like this, and we just play this. Let's say take here. Oh, they resign. Oh, 97 is winning and they resign. Yeah, I think because, yeah, I mean, we are winning anyway. I will do a quick game review. So 97 taking here was correct, but 97 I was afraid of rook a8. So let me do the game review as quick as I can. So we played like a 2200. Can you believe that? Like a 2200. That was really good. We made one mistake. So let me check. So f4, yeah, that's our book move. Yeah, the bed. a3 was correct. Bishop f5 was a little bit dubious. Yeah, that was the move. We played that correctly. Taking was correct. Was it? Yeah, taking was correct. d3 was absolutely correct. e6. Castling was correct. Maybe there was a better move, but castling was correct. Yeah, knight bd2 would have been better, but castling was the top move, so we take castling here. So this is our first mistake. Playing b3 would have been much better, or queen e1. So b3 was best, queen e1 was best, or knight bd2 was best instead of knight e5. So I think I sensed that was a mistake. After this, apologies, we take knight bd7 was absolutely correct, and b3 had to be played. So b3, d4, and queen d2 are the same evaluation. So queen d2, knight takes e5, and after b3, we are just down a pawn. So here, correct, b3 was correct, and after c5, knight c3 should have been played immediately. Bishop a3 is not good, it's like minus 0.16 for black, so we played bishop a6, which is not the best, and queen g5 has to be played here, and queen g5, then I thought I could play queen d2, and after queen d2 there's a5. Oh wow. So f6, and it was correct to have taken on f6, so ef6 was correct. We take, and taking on c5 was not the best. Knight bd2 should have been played immediately if there was knight bd2. So let's say we played knight bd2 here, and let's say what do I want to do? Maybe they could have just taken here an ed4. I just want to show you that the tactics doesn't work again, because after this we can just take with this, right? Rook takes a1, there's not something like this. So that was why knight bd2 had to be played. So this was like the best move that keeps black into the game. Respect to black for finding that. I absolutely didn't see that. So after that, queen d4 is the best move. Queen d4 was the best move, and after take, we take, and there's rook b8, and there's no queen f6 at the end of the day again because we just play queen g1. Oh, so that was why queen d4 was best. We play queen d2, and this is like minus 0.7 for black, so we are definitely, so here taking was correct. We take, queen takes f1 was correct. Here queen g4, and queen f4 was the best move here. So knight b d2 doesn't work because of queen takes e3, yeah, and rook a3, rook a3, and they take again. Oh, so this was the only move that keeps us in the game for a little while, and trading seems to be a little bit bad for them. So we take again, and bishop has to take on b1. After this, knight a3 was immediately good. Oh, it's good. So g3 was a mistake, and after bishop takes b1, I think we have to defend very well in the rook end game. So this was a mistake because that allowed knight c3 with the tempo, and after bishop here, knight b5 was absolute stunner, and this was a mistake because, so this was what I was thinking was because of something like this, and knight b5. Okay, so this was just a winning game. So I saw this, and I saw king f2. Yeah, I saw king f2. I saw taking on here or king f2. So this was must have been good. Yeah. And after e5, knight c6, and if they take a4, and if they take again, we take, and if king f7, we push a5. If rook a8, we push b4. Okay, and this is completely winning. Even though our opponent resigned, maybe we could have won. I think here on, if I was able to like grab this, I think we would have maybe won, but definitely not losing. So we are up 1408, which is something very good. So thank you guys for watching this video. Do like and subscribe, turn on your notification bell in case I drop another video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.